title, against all odds. Chapter 1: The Fall. Kartik Anand's life revolved around cricket, but at age 15, his world was shaken when his father, Arjun, was diagnosed with cancer. Arjun had been Kartik's mentor, guiding him through every phase of his cricketing journey. As the illness worsened, Kartik was forced to abandon the sport to care for his father. For 2 years, Kartik watched his father fight the disease, all while losing touch with the game he loved. He gained weight, lost his athletic edge, and feared his cricketing dreams had slipped away. After his father passed, Kartik returned to cricket, but his body had changed. He faced constant injuries, hamstring pulls, an ACL tear that never fully healed, and doubts about his physical capabilities. Chapter 2: The Injuries and the Return. Kartik's return to cricket was filled with setbacks. His injuries plagued him at every turn, and despite numerous attempts at rehabilitation, the toll on his body was undeniable. His mother, worried about the long-term consequences, tried to convince him to stop playing. She feared for his health, knowing how fragile his body had become. But Kartik was determined. He trained harder than ever, determined to prove that he could still lead India to victory despite his injury history. He became a formidable middle-order batsman, batting at number 3 or 4. His left-handed batting was powerful and aggressive, while his right-arm bowling provided an extra edge to his game. But the physical strain remained constant. Chapter 3: Kritika, the Skeptic. Kritika Sharma, a journalist assigned to cover the Indian cricket team, had known Kartik since their college days. Back then, they had been fierce rivals. Kartik, the cricketing prodigy, and Kritika, the sharp, no-nonsense leader of the student council. Their personalities clashed often, and now, as adults, they found themselves butting heads once again. Kritika's skepticism about Kartik's ability to play with his injury history became a point of contention. She wasn't shy about expressing her doubts in her articles and interviews. She believed Kartik was risking long-term damage to his body by playing, and if he got re-injured, he could be a liability to the team. Their confrontations were heated and filled with professional tension, but underneath it all, there was an unspoken respect between them. Chapter 4: Jay, the Teammate. Jay, Kartik's childhood friend and fellow cricketer, was one of the few people who truly understood Kartik's struggles. A spin bowler for the Indian team, Jay had seen Kartik at his best and worst. While Kartik battled his physical demons, Jay was always there, offering support and encouragement. Jay's relationship with Kartik was built on years of trust, both on and off the field. But Jay wasn't just a teammate. He was also in a relationship with Bonnie, Kartik's other childhood friend. Bonnie, now a journalist like Kritika, covered the World Cup alongside her. Together, Bonnie and Kritika supported Kartik in their ways, even if they didn't always agree with his decisions. Chapter 5: Bonnie and Kritika, the Bond. Despite their different roles, Bonnie and Kritika had become close friends. Bonnie had known Kartik since they were children, and her relationship with Jay only deepened their connection. Bonnie had always been Kartik's confidant, someone who had seen him through the toughest times, but her romantic involvement with Jay kept any potential complications at bay. Kritika and Bonnie's bond, however, was based on mutual respect. They both cared about Kartik's well-being, albeit in different ways. Kritika's professional distance and critical eye balanced out Bonnie's unwavering belief in Kartik's abilities. Chapter 6: The World Cup Journey. As captain, Kartik's leadership was constantly tested throughout the World Cup. India had suffered a 16-year drought, always choking in the knockout stages, and the pressure to bring the trophy home was immense. Kartik's middle-order batting was crucial, and though his body sometimes faltered, his mind remained sharp. Each match was a test not only of his skill, but also of his endurance. With Jay as his reliable spin bowler, Kartik strategically led India through the group stages and into the semi-finals, where they managed to break their knockout curse. The media, led by Kritika and Bonnie's coverage, followed every moment, and Kritika's criticism of Kartik's physical condition softened as his performances silenced doubters. The tension between them grew, not just as professional rivals, but as two people unsure of their own emotions. Chapter 7: The Lord's Final. India's road to the final had been filled with challenges, and now they stood at Lord's, facing their old rivals, Australia. The Australians had posted a formidable total in the first innings, and the pressure was on India to chase it down, a task that had often proved elusive in previous World Cups. Kartik, batting at number 4, knew this was the moment that would define his career. Australia had put up a strong fight, and Kartik's body, with its history of injuries, was already feeling the strain. But he couldn't afford to falter now, not when the World Cup was within reach. As India began their chase, the tension in the stadium was palpable. Kartik, with his aggressive style, entered the field with the responsibility of steering the innings through critical moments. The Australians, known for their aggressive bowling attack, tested Kartik with pace and spin, but his experience and determination helped him weather the storm. As the chase progressed, the required run rate climbed steadily. Kartik remained calm under pressure, guiding the team through crucial phases. He played pivotal shots, picking gaps and keeping the scoreboard ticking. Partnerships came and went, but Kartik held the innings together. Chapter 8. The Moment of Truth. With every passing over, India inched closer to their target, but the game was far from over. Australia's bowlers ramped up the intensity, and wickets fell at crucial moments. The tension in the stands was unbearable as India needed to find the perfect balance between aggression and caution. Kartik's body screamed in protest, his hamstrings burning, and the memories of his past injuries haunted him, but he pushed through. His mind was clear. This was the moment he had fought for all his life, and nothing, no pain, no doubt, would stop him. The match came down to the final overs, and with Kartik still at the crease, India's hopes rested on his shoulders. He played a series of measured shots, steering India closer to the target with every ball. His experience shone through as he navigated the pressure, finding gaps in the field and rotating the strike when needed. In the penultimate over, Kartik played a crucial boundary that swung the momentum India's way. As the final over approached, India needed just a handful of runs to win the World Cup. Kartik remained at the crease, determined to see it through. With just a few balls left, Kartik flicked the ball past mid-wicket, running the final runs with an overwhelming sense of relief and triumph. India had done it. They had chased down Australia's total to win the World Cup at Lord's. Chapter 9. The Cliffhanger. As the crowd erupted in celebration, Kartik stood on the pitch, soaking in the moment. His dream of winning the World Cup, fulfilling the promise he had made to his father, was now a reality. The years of struggle, the pain of injuries, the doubts, everything had led to this. Kartik's mind, however, was far from settled. As he looked around, his eyes met Kritika's, who was watching from the sidelines, covering the biggest story of her career. Their intense rivalry, the years of clashing, and the recent closeness between them had created an undeniable tension. But neither of them knew what to make of it. Kartik didn't know if what he felt for Kritika was admiration, affection, or something more, but he knew one thing: their story wasn't finished. As he celebrated with his teammates, including Jay and Bonnie, he realized that while the World Cup victory had completed one chapter of his life, his journey, especially with Kritika, was far from over. With India celebrating their first World Cup win in 16 years, Kartik knew that his cricketing journey would continue. But as he exchanged a lingering glance with Kritika, he also knew that there were more questions than answers when it came to their future.